If you have watched Tenet, you probably have a lot of questions in your head about various events happening in the movie. In this video, we will be explaining one of the most common unanswered questions regarding Tenet: how Sator got the last piece of the algorithm. For understanding this, we need to revisit and understand the whole talent chase scene after the protagonist steals the piece from the transport and sees that Sator is asking for it while holding Cat hostage. After seeing Cat hostage and Sator asking for the algorithm, protagonist sees a silver crashed car unflip and start moving in reverse. It was later revealed that the inverted protagonist from the future was driving that car. The current non-inverted protagonist saw that it was him who was driving the car and threw the piece into the silver car and the empty case to Sator. This can actually be seen in the chase scene if you slow down the footage. After that, Sator abandons Cat, then protagonist saves her, and then both of them get caught and taken to Sator's facility. But the silver car kept moving down the road and gets parked right outside the facility by inverted protagonist. At the facility, the protagonist lies that the piece is in BMW, making the normal Sator invert himself and go after the BMW. And protagonist also inverts himself to go after Sator. After leaving the facility, the protagonist even checks the back seat of the car to look for peace but fails to find it because it was on the floor of that car. Now, we will be seeing the whole scenario from the eyes of the inverted Sator to see how he must have gotten that piece. And for that, we need to play the original chase scene in reverse and the reverse one we got from the movie simultaneously. When Sator goes out, he starts searching the BMW for the piece but fails to find it. So he gets in the car in which the case was going to end up with the help of knowledge about the events of the past he already had to check the case. Unable to find it in the case too, he tells his team that protagonist was lying and to get all the sections to hypercenter. After a few seconds, Sator sees a driverless car with Cat in it and enters it. Here is where the things are going to be a little bit confusing. We initially thought that Sator abandoned her after getting the box, but if we reverse the original chase scene, we see that Sator actually got inside that car and decided to put a gun to her head after finding out that the box was empty. Another question that arises here is why did he let Cat go when he had her hostage while inverting himself and leaving the facility so that she ends up in a driverless car, which from Sator's perspective was on the road in reverse by Cat and protagonist. We will leave this question for another video. Let's focus on the algorithm for now. After taking Cat hostage, the silver car comes in between, the box flies from Sator to the protagonist, and the piece flies from silver car to the protagonist in BMW. At this moment, Sator sees that the piece was in silver car, and the car is being driven by inverted protagonist and crashes it before going back to explore it, breaking the side mirror of BMW in the process and telling protagonist that he lied for nothing and stating that he knows now that the piece was in the silver car. Sator now knows that the piece will end up in the silver car right after a few minutes of him inverting himself. But Sator cannot get that now without turning back to normal. Because for him, the time has already passed and the piece is on its way to the truck. What the easiest way for Sator to get the algorithm would be is to go back to the facility, turn himself back to normal so he again starts moving forward in time, wait for the silver car to park itself and steal the piece from there. Now, all Satan needs to do is wait for the protagonist and his team to invert themselves and use the same turnstile to invert him because there will be no version of the team guarding the machine after the point of inversion, as both versions exist until the point of inversion and no version beyond that, similar to when we say Sator inverted himself. He just needs to leave the facility now in the time frame between him inverting himself with the piece and the protagonist and his team inverting themselves, or he will collide with them and the matchup isn't going to end all too well for him. If you like this video, then like it. If you dislike this video, then dislike it. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Be seeing you in the next video. Bye bye.